They once called Burkina Faso hopeless, a land of endless dust where nothing could grow. For decades, ships full of foreign grain sailed across oceans, trucks rumbled through villages, and aid bags stacked higher than houses were handed out as lifelines. To the outside world, this was charity. But to many Burkinabe, it was a chain, an invisible hand deciding when they eat, what they eat, and if they eat at all. In the heart of West Africa, a quiet revolution has begun. And its weapon? Not guns, not loans, not speeches. It is bananas. For generations, foreign countries shipped wheat, rice, and corn into Burkina Faso. Leaders on television explained hunger with words like inflation and supply chain disruptions. Aid workers called it generosity, but the result was dependence. Local crops disappeared. Traditional farming knowledge faded. And an entire nation was left with the quiet voice of dependency whispering, "You are weak, you need us." Grandmothers once knew how to feed entire villages with sorghum, yams, and plantains. That memory was buried under imported sacks of grain. The soil wasn't dead, it was waiting for someone to remember. In a small village near Bobo Dioulasso, an old woman named Aminata touched the soil with her fingers and prayed softly, "You are not dead, you are just resting, waiting for us to remember." Her grandson Malik, only 19, had dropped out of school because the family couldn't afford fees. For him, the cracked earth was a mirror of his future, dry and empty. Then, a dusty car pulled into the village. Not a white aid truck, not a politician in a suit. It was Captain Ibrahim Traore, a soldier turned leader. He didn't climb a stage. He didn't give a rehearsed speech. He sat under a mango tree with the villagers and he asked Aminata a simple question. "Mama, before the chemicals, before the aid trucks, what did this land give you?" Aminata's face lit up. Her memories poured out. Yams, peanuts, beans, sorghum, and bananas so sweet they filled the air with their scent. For the first time in years, hope returned to her voice. That conversation was the true beginning of the revolution. The government committed $150 million of its own money. Not loans, not grants, not aid. Their own funds invested into their own land. The plan was bold yet simple. Reclaim thousands of unused hectares and plant bananas and plantains. Why plantains? Because they are African crops, resilient, filling, and deeply rooted in tradition. Strong like the people themselves. Tractors assembled in Ouagadougou, not imported from abroad, prepared the land. Young engineers were called to design and innovate. Volunteers planted seedlings by hand, row after row. For the first time in decades, the future didn't arrive in aid bags. It was being planted in the soil of Burkina Faso itself. But then came the test. The rain stopped. Rivers dried. Banana leaves curled and yellowed. The dream fields looked like they were dying. Foreign media pounced. Traore's banana gamble fails, headlines declared. International lenders sent polite letters urging Burkina Faso to abandon its project and return to aid imports. Even inside government, doubts grew. One general asked bluntly, "Mr. President, what if the trees die? What then?" Traore's answer was quiet but firm. "Then we must water them with our belief. And if belief is not enough, then we organize." That phrase, "we organize," became the new rallying cry. An emergency summit was held, not in a conference hall, but under the shade of wilting banana trees. Farmers, engineers, youth leaders, and faith elders gathered on straw mats. They refused to surrender. Together, they launched a campaign called Dig Before You Beg. Instead of holding out hands for aid, villages picked up shovels. They dug wells, built basins, captured rainwater. Taxi drivers donated wages for tools. Teachers pooled salaries. Burkinabe abroad sent money home. And then, in August, clouds returned. Not a flood, not a miracle, just enough. Enough to save half the crop. enough to prove that collective effort mattered, enough to show the revolution was alive. The banana became more than food. It became a flag. In Ouagadougou, thousands marched through the streets, holding bananas high like golden torches of dignity. Schools filled blackboards with banana drawings. The Ministry of Culture ordered that every national ceremony begin with the planting of a banana tree. When President Traore planted one at the National University, hands dirty with soil, the image spread across Africa, a leader who dug with his people, not above them. Foreign companies tried to step in, offering to manage distribution. The response was simple: we are not growing for your markets. We are growing for our people. The story spread like wildfire. In Ghana, artists carved wooden maps of Africa with a banana at Burkina Faso's heart. In Nigeria, activists marched not with angry signs, but with fruit in their hands, bananas, plantains, mangoes, as symbols of food sovereignty. In Mali and Niger, villages began planting small groves, digging wells, and turning desert edges into green oases. Across the Sahel, the message was clear. If Burkina Faso can feed itself, so can we. Foreign governments were uneasy. A leaked memo called Burkina Faso's path a dangerous precedent. But ordinary Africans saw it differently. They saw possibility. At the United Nations, Burkina Faso's delegate stood before world leaders and delivered a sentence that cut through diplomatic noise. We thank you for your resolutions and reports. But in my country, we have learned that you cannot eat resolutions. So, we have decided to grow revolutions instead. The hall went silent. Then applause broke out unscripted, breaking protocol. For 4 minutes, the world clapped, because everyone understood this was not just about bananas, it was about freedom. Today, Burkina Faso's banana groves are more than agriculture. They are living symbols of defiance, dignity, and hope. A single banana cannot stop hunger. But a forest of bananas can stop a nation from kneeling. From Aminata's whisper to the soil, to Malik's newfound hope, to the millions inspired across Africa, this is more than farming. It is a revolution rooted in the ground itself, and the question it asks us all is simple. Will we keep begging for scraps, or will we plant our future with our own hands? If this story inspired you, share it. Subscribe for more powerful stories of resilience. And remember, revolutions don't always start with fire. Sometimes they start with a seed.